Funky.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Behind the bar with me this evening. Just got back from working out and watching the end of the Patriots-Broncos game, and it was an exciting ending, more exciting than it probably should have been, but hate to see the Patriots lose. I don't like Peyton Manning, so screw that. Bad decision, go NFC. But I decided I wanted to do a beer review tonight, a very special beer review. I'll be honest though, I actually reviewed this beer on Saturday when I had a bunch of friends over and we popped a growler of this beer. However, I wasn't really happy with my review. People were over, we were doing a bottle share, I felt like I was rushed, and I just didn't want to post it. I don't feel like I really did it justice because it's a big time beer, especially given the beers that I typically review on this channel, which is, I know, mostly IPAs, but and mostly Treehouse IPAs. But tonight we're going to do an incredible beer. I let this warm up. When I drank it before, it was cold, and I kind of plowed through it because it was bottle share, and I really want to give it its due justice and its the time it deserves. So that's what we're going to do. And the beer tonight is Very Green from Treehouse. A beautiful label. I mean, the artist that does this, he's actually a fun guy to follow on Instagram, but beautiful can art, just really beautiful. But Very Green, double IPA, 8.3% alcohol by volume. It is the big brother or imperial version of Green. And if you know, Green is my favorite IPA, and a lot of people that I know's favorite IPA as well. It's insane. It is the GOAT. It's killer, and this is the imperial version of it. I've been waiting to try it. Treehouse has been releasing amazing beers lately. I mean, they released King Julius, the Curiosity beers. They've been releasing a big beer fairly often recently, so hopefully that keeps up. They just released Doppelganger this last week, which was an imperial version of Alter Ego, and I'm assuming Very Hazy is not very far either, so... Anyways, let's stop chatting and rambling about this beer. I've let it sit out for about 30 minutes now to get it to that proper temperature for Treehouse beers. We're going to get it into our proper glassware. Let's see what we think. God, the aroma from this beer. So, this is made with a mix of American and Australian hops, the big one being Galaxy. It's a huge Galaxy beer, at least Green is. And one would assume the same would be the case for Very Green, being the bigger brother. They're not a huge difference in ABV. I think it's about 1%. I think it's like 7.2 for Green, somewhere in that ballpark. I'm probably wrong, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, let's see how it looks. In the glass, just deep orange pineapple juice. Not as crazy turbid as Green is. It's not as hazy. Sometimes batches of Green will look like paste in a glass, whereas this isn't quite as turbid. But it's haze for days. I mean, you can't see anything through it. I mean, it's dark in color. The beer itself is very light in color, but it looks dark in the middle of the glass just because it's so hazy and you lose light through it. Holding it up to the light, it just looks amazing. About a finger and a half, just killer carbonation. See some bubbles coming up the outside of the glass. Big soapy in the middle, but just fluffy head like you get on Treehouse beers. They've got carbonation dialed in all the time with all the beers that they release. So I would expect nothing less. But it just looks killer in the glass. I have been sitting here just like overwhelmed by the aroma that is just flooding my basement. So let's dive in and see what it smells like up close and personal. Jesus. It's huge. It's just this huge, dank pineapple smoothie smell. This is Galaxy for days. If you know about Galaxy hops, there's primarily just a huge pineapple aroma to it with some orange, a little bitterness. But that is what you get from this. It's just like a pineapple tropical dank smoothie. I mean, there's a little bit of breadiness to it. That's kind of that sweetness that you pick up on the back end that they have dialed in perfectly. And then you get that juicy fruit smell from the yeast profile of this beer. It is freaking killer. God, this beer makes me giddy. So I will say that I drank, this actually smells It seems like, again, I let it warm up, which with these beers, it lets it just kind of open up and become just these incredible drinking beers. Whereas with the growler that I opened, which is what we opened, it's actually sitting back here now, it was just, it was very aromatic, but not like this. This is huge, in your face. I mean, you would swear there was just a smoothie like right in front of you, like pineapple. God, it smells incredible, guys. I mean, even as it's warming even more, picking up on more of the orange aspects, the mango. But just, I mean, just looks killer. Looks creamy in the glass. I'm excited to drink this. Can't promise what my reaction's going to be. So, cheers, everybody. And actually, before I do that, as I always do with these beers, a huge shout out to Leo for hooking this up for me. This was an insanely short notice release, as they've been doing lately with these big ones, and it sold out almost instantly. I mean, really quick. Line out, forever long. And anyways, thank you, Leo, very much. And cheers, everybody. Jesus. Take a quick step back. The reason I love green so much is that green gives me my favorite aspects of IPAs. I'm a big IPA guy, as everybody knows, but I love Julius, and Julius is still, I believe, the top ranked IPA in the world on Beer Advocate. It's a top 10 on it's top 10 beer on the Beer Advocate 250. I mean, it's a huge beer. And green's constantly getting up there, but Julius is very fruit forward. It's very tropical. It's orange. It's grapefruit. And there's not a lot of bitterness to it, whereas green has some of those bittering aspects, the dankness, but then that creaminess, the pineapple, the fruit, the mango, the orange. And this takes that and it just kicks it up a notch. You can't taste any alcohol in this double IPA. You get some, I'm actually getting some malty aspects to this beer a little bit. Almost a little crackery, but just a smidge. Just a very smidge. It's bitter. It's dank, but at the same time, it does it in such a way that it's just ridiculously smooth. I would actually say that I don't know how this is possible, but in my brain, it's like everything on green kind of amped up a notch, but it's smoother. It balances, everything goes up, but it goes up in such a way that it still creates this balance. It is so flavorful. This beer is insanely flavorful. I'll just kind of try and walk you through it. I mean, as it's warming up, it's even more pronounced now. Right up front, you're getting this piney, but then instant pineapple note. It's bitter, but it's pineapple though. It's like a pineapple smoothie with some, just spruce, but just not quite that bitter, but it's got those bittering aspects, the green element of it, that kind of herbaceous note. And then it kind of just goes from there into this just mango, pineapple, ridiculous beer. It's dank. It's got the bittering aspects. It is everything green is, just kicked up a notch, and then smoothed out. The hard part for me is trying to figure out, green is my favorite IPA. My favorite double IPA kind of goes back and forth between batches of Haze and Dinner. The last batch of Haze was insane, and Dinner wasn't as good. They're both hundreds, but is this now my favorite double IPA? And I'm not sure. I'd actually love to drink this alongside Haze. To see, Haze is a lot softer than this beer. This beer is definitely more flavorful from the dank and bitter aspects of it. I mean, it's green. It's exactly what its name says. That can art, it just pops. It's like neon green. It's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, it's 100. I mean, There's no way around it. I mean, it's exactly what I felt Julius and King Julius were with each other. King Julius was just kind of an amped up version of Julius. Everything was basically the same. It was just a little more flavorful, a little more powerful, and just kicked it up a notch. I mean, it's 100. Here's the thing, is that this is a great beer, and I'm glad they brewed it, and every time it's released, I will get it. Is it my favorite treehouse beer? I don't know, because I love green, and I don't know which one I prefer. I really don't. I'm not going to say that it's better than green, because green is damn near, if not, it's a damn near perfect beer for me. But this is everything that is, just a little bit more of it, so maybe it is. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. And I'm not going to open green right now, so to do them blind. And in fairness, when I did the growler review, I actually got out a can of green that we all kind of took samples of before we drank Very Green to see, and you could see just how insanely similar these beers are. It's really minute, the differences between these. It's not a huge difference. If you drank them blind, being completely honest, if I blinded you and mixed these up, that Very Green and green, I'm not sure you'd be able to pick it. You might be able to, just because it is a little bit more flavorful, but they're insanely similar beers. I mean, I'm talking about one of probably my 4 favorite beers I've ever had from an IPA standpoint, if not 3 or 2 or 1. I don't know. Once you get to this, you're splitting hairs, and I just feel blessed that I get to drink these amazing beers. I mean, we're in a great time in craft beer when it comes to what breweries are doing. I mean, not just in IPAs and stouts and everything, but I mean, what people are doing and creating in the IPA world is just insane right now. From the Northeast to Toppling Goliath to that Block 15 IPA that I friggin' reviewed that I loved, that I hope they brew again, to stuff that I'm getting to try for the first time. I mean, it's just, we're in an amazing time, and people are innovating, breweries are opening, trying new things, and it's incredible. And I don't want anybody to copy each other. Like, I don't go to a brewery and be like, hey, you should brew something like Julius or Green. Like, use those techniques and create those like creamy. I mean, I didn't even talk about the mouthfeel in this beer is creamy. It's got that juicy fruit aspect of the yeast. I mean, everything I talked about on the aroma, all those things are there. And, you know, dialing in your pH and getting some body to these beers with flaked wheat and oat, not cheating with wheat flour, as I know a couple breweries do. Don't do that. Do it with the actual ingredients. But this beer's insane. It's crushable. I mean, for 8 what is this? 8.2 or 8.3? What did I say? 8.3. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's basically a perfect beer, guys. So I'll leave it there. 100 out of 100. I could keep talking about it, but I'm not going to. I need to go up and eat some dinner. So thank you, Leo, once again for this beer. This is my last can. I'm sad. But I'm sure they'll brew it again, and they'll brew other amazing things. And if not, I've got green, and green gets released all the time, and we always have that. So if you've never had any Treehouse beers, and you obviously can't get this now, get green, because you'll know very close to what this is. If you haven't had King Julius, get Julius. You'll know it's very close. Those, like, for being their 2 mainstay beers, they're the best 2, like, everyday beers that any brewery brews, in my opinion. So 100 out of 100, guys. Is it the GOAT? I don't know. Greatest of all time? I'm not sure. But it's ridiculous. Big shout out to all the new subscribers. I've had a ton added recently. I mean, we hit 200 and we're barreling towards 300 in less than 2 weeks after that. So we're getting really close to that. And I appreciate all the likes, subscribes. People have reached out. Had people try and send me beer. And I don't deserve any of it. I'm just doing this for fun. I appreciate everybody watching. Like, subscribe, comment. That's the best part for me. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Untapped, Ryerson82. I always post my alias or URL thing in the comments anymore. So follow me on any of those. It's mostly sports and beer on Twitter, and beer pictures for the most part on Instagram. So, and Untapped check-in schooler. So until next time, guys, cheers.